There's a Korean horror movie called Salmokji that completely exploded at the box office recently. And I'm not talking about did pretty well. I mean the kind of success where everyone suddenly starts talking about one movie at the same time. According to Korean media reports, Salmokji shot straight to the top of the Korean box office almost immediately after release, pulling in millions of viewers within just days. People were obsessed with it. I've seen it myself and I love it. But apparently the horror isn't just on screen. There are things that made the movie even creepier behind the scenes. Before filming started, the production team reportedly held a traditional Korean safety ritual called a gosa. Basically, a ceremony asking for protection and good fortune during production. Pretty common in Korea. But according to posts that later spread online, the shaman invited to the ritual suddenly became disturbed. She reportedly claimed there was a spirit standing nearby. And the terrifying part? She described the ghost as looking exactly like the entity written in the script. Same appearance, same energy, same woman. Now normally I'd just brush that off as marketing. Horror movies love viral stories. But then I found out something else. The reservoir featured in the story, Salmokji Reservoir in Yesan County, South Chungcheong Province, already had a reputation long before the movie existed. Local residents and fishermen have apparently considered the area haunted for years. There's even an unwritten rule around the reservoir. Don't stay there past 10 p.m. Not because of crime, not because of animals, because people believe something is there. And tonight, we're talking about the urban legend that supposedly inspired the film. The terrifying legend of Salmokji. Welcome to the podcast You Can't Unhear. The story supposedly happened on Tuesday, February 15th, 2011, in rural South Korea. Now, the setting matters a lot here. If you've ever driven through mountain roads late at night, especially in Korea, you know how unsettling they can feel. Long, empty roads, no streetlights, fog hanging between trees, no people around for kilometers. And once the fog gets thick enough, it changes everything psychologically. Your world shrinks down to whatever your headlights can barely touch. Outside of that, nothing. Just darkness. That night, a woman named Jin-hee was driving home late from work. She was exhausted, probably mentally checked out, just trying to get home. Because visibility was terrible, she relied heavily on her car's GPS navigation. At first, everything felt normal. Wide asphalt roads, clear directions, no problems. But little by little, the drive started becoming strange. And one thing I think horror stories understand really well is this. Fear usually arrives slowly, not all at once. First, there's confusion. Then, discomfort. Then your instincts start whispering that something's wrong. But your brain keeps trying to rationalize it. Maybe this is a shortcut. Maybe construction changed the road. Maybe the map just looks weird. That's how people get trapped in dangerous situations. Not because they're reckless, but because human beings are wired to preserve normality for as long as possible. And that's exactly what Jin-hee did. As she kept driving, the paved road suddenly disappeared. Now she was driving on a narrow dirt road. Single lane. No lighting. No signs. No houses. Just thick fog and trees. And according to her GPS, she was still on the correct route. Imagine that feeling. Your instincts are telling you to turn around immediately. But the machine calmly insists you're fine. That tension alone is terrifying. Because nowadays we trust technology almost automatically. Maps, algorithms, navigation systems. We assume they know better than we do. So even when something feels wrong, people hesitate. The road became rougher, more isolated. The silence around her became almost unnatural. Then the GPS suddenly announced, "Turn left." Jinhee followed the direction and immediately slammed on the brakes because there was no road, only water. A reservoir. Pitch black water stretching endlessly into the fog. She had almost driven directly into it. And this next detail is what makes the story genuinely creepy. According to Jinhee, even after stopping, the GPS kept insisting she continue forward. Continue straight into the reservoir. She slowly backed the car away, panicking now, hands shaking on the wheel. But the further she got from the water, the more aggressively the GPS recalculated. Turn around. You are off route. Continue straight, like it was trying to force her back. And maybe logically, it was just malfunctioning. But fear changes the way we interpret things. Once panic enters your body, even ordinary technology can start feeling hostile, intentional, alive. Finally, Jinhee managed to find the asphalt road again. She was trembling, heart racing, trying to process how close she came to dying. So she did what most people would do after a traumatic moment. She called her mother. When her mother answered, Jinhee immediately said, "Mom, I almost died." Her mother sounded surprised and told her she shouldn't have taken that road. Finally, Jinhee felt normal again, comforted. You know how after something terrifying happens, hearing a familiar voice can calm your nervous system almost instantly? That's what this felt like. But then, her mother casually mentioned spending time earlier that day with Deokjong's mother. And Jinhee froze, because Deokjong's mother had died 3 years earlier. That's such an effective horror detail because it's subtle. No screaming, no ghosts. Just one sentence that reality shouldn't allow. Jinhee quietly responded, "Mom, what do you mean? She died years ago." Then, silence. No static. No breathing. Nothing. Jinhee kept saying, "Mum? Mum? Mum?" Then she heard a laugh. Soft. Female. Low and distant. The kind of laugh that immediately triggers something primal in your brain. She hung up instantly. But seconds later, the phone rang again. And this is where people always say, "I would never answer." Yes, you would. Almost everyone would. Because your brain still wants a rational explanation. Maybe the line crossed. Maybe someone took the phone. Maybe there's a technical issue. So Jinhee answered again. But it wasn't her mother. A soft, unfamiliar voice asked, "Why didn't you follow the GPS?" That line changes the entire story, because now the phone call and the reservoir are connected. Whatever happened near that water, knew she escaped. According to Jinhee, she panicked and tried to hang up while still driving. The call disconnected. Then her phone rang again. But this time, before answering, she noticed something horrifying. No service. No signal. No bars. No connection at all. So who had been calling her? That's when she completely lost control. Without thinking, she threw the phone out the car window and drove home as fast as possible. And And strangely, after that, nothing happened. At least temporarily. Exactly 1 week later, on February 22nd, Jin-hee worked late again. But this time she refused to take the mountain road. She specifically avoided it. Instead, she chose Route 21, a safer, larger road with more traffic. But that night, she got into a major accident. When she woke up, she was in the ICU. Her mother sat beside her crying, "Oh my God, Jin-hee, I thought you wouldn't wake up." She'd been unconscious for 2 days. Already terrifying enough. But then things became even stranger. Jin-hee looked at the calendar. February 17th. That didn't make sense. According to her memory, the reservoir incident happened on February 15th, and the crash happened a week later. But her mother corrected her. "No, your accident happened on February 15th. The exact same night as the reservoir incident." Now this is where the story becomes fascinating psychologically, because either something supernatural happened, or Jin-hee experienced severe trauma and memory distortion after the crash. And trauma absolutely can distort time perception, especially after head injuries. People forget hours. Days blur together. Memories overlap. But still, there are details here that are difficult to explain away, especially what happened next. A few nights later, Jin-hee woke up in a regular hospital room. She noticed someone standing beside her bed. At first, she assumed it was a nurse. Then, she looked down. The feet were pale, swollen, like skin soaked under water for too long. That image is horrifying because it feels real, not cinematic, not exaggerated, just dead. Then the figure leaned closer. A woman with red eyes. And the exact same voice from the phone call. "Why didn't you follow the GPS?" Imagine hearing that while trapped in a hospital bed after a coma. No certainty about reality anymore. No escape. Then the woman whispered, "Let me tell you why I died," and laughed. The exact same laugh from the phone. Jin-hee fainted again. When she woke up, her mother repeated the exact same sentence as before. "Oh, Jin-hee, I thought you wouldn't wake up again." Same tone, same words. Like time itself had reset. She looked at the calendar again. February 17th. Again. Then she looked behind her mother, and standing silently in the corner was the red-eyed woman, watching her. Eventually, after being discharged, Jin-hee and her mother visited a shaman. And whether you personally believe in shamans or not, they still hold an important cultural role in Korea, especially regarding unexplained illness or spiritual disturbances. According to the story, before they even sat down, the shaman immediately said, "You didn't come here alone." Then, "She followed you from Salmokji Reservoir." But the line that really terrified people was this: "Her hair is tied with your hair." That's such a disturbing sentence. It implies attachment, like the spirit connected itself to her, bound itself to her somehow. After performing a ritual, the figure supposedly disappeared permanently. No more phone calls. No more sightings. No more laughter. And if this were just another urban legend, that would probably be the end. Except there's one final detail. And this is the part that keeps the story alive online. Jin-hee's phone was later found near the reservoir. Not near the asphalt road where she claimed she threw it after escaping. Near the water. That changes everything. Because now people started asking, did she actually escape the reservoir at all? Was she already in the accident earlier than she realized? Did the trauma create false memories? Or did something happen near that reservoir that she genuinely could not explain? And personally, I think uncertainty is what makes this story terrifying. Not ghosts, not jump scares, but uncertainty. Because once reality becomes unreliable, your brain starts doing the horror for you. What really sticks with me about this story is how modern the fear feels. Old ghost stories used haunted forests or cursed houses. This story uses GPS navigation, and that's what makes it work so well today. Because most of us trust machines more than ourselves now. If Google Maps tells you to turn somewhere weird, you usually do it, even if your instincts say otherwise. And psychologically, this story taps into another terrifying idea. What if trauma can trap you in a loop? Repeating memories, repeating conversations, repeating fear. Whether Jinhee encountered a ghost, or whether her brain was desperately trying to reconstruct a traumatic event. The emotional horror was real, but the voice on the phone isn't your real mother. As always, stay safe out there, guys. See you on the next episode of the podcast You Can't Unhear.